Thank you for meeting with me, Mr. Shipley.
No problem, Mr. Somerville.
Just got a question I want to ask you about your, last year you were a special ed teacher here at the elementary.
Correct.
And you recently got a new role, and I was hoping maybe you could tell us a little bit about that. Tell me a little bit about that.
Yes, sir. Over the summer, I applied for the position of the special education supervisor here at the school district. And I had a couple other applicants, so there's nothing wrong with a little friendly competition, but I was fortunate enough to come to be selected for the position. Has been I would say probably a drastic change from being in the classroom, because with the classroom, I'm there through the whole day in the classroom, got kids coming in and out and so forth, working with either English or reading or math, or sometimes I'd have some come in that needed help with a quiz and science, or even with social studies or anything like that. So, and now it's more on the lines that I'm having meeting after meeting, or trying to make sure that we're going through the due process of making sure all of our meetings and evaluations and everything else are all on timeline. We don't go out of timeline. Make sure that we're staying in compliance with the rules and regulations and laws of special education and IDEA. And it's just been a drastic change, and especially these first few weeks, through the first 9 weeks, has been quite trying, because we've been looking for a speech therapist for the longest, and we finally found one. So she started this past week, and so we're getting caught up on what we've been behind on and so forth. So it's been quite a challenge.
How would the speech therapist help us?
Well, the speech therapist is going to provide those related services that a lot of these students need. That, like, we have around 30 students that are speech. Now, with those 30 students, there's 11 that are speech goes related. They're up for articulation and being able to develop those sounds of those letters and those phonemes and such. And then the remaining students are more on the lines of like language goes, like being able to tell the spatial relationship, quantitative, qualitative, those type of language goes.
I've noticed that we got also a new special ed teacher. How is that going for us?
It's going very well. That special ed teacher came in, and she has my old classroom. Her birthday was a couple weeks back, so I finally relinquished it to her.
I was going to ask if that was a hard let go.
It was, because there's times I still say my classroom, because for 4 years it was my classroom. And those are my kids, but now all these kids are my kids. The special ed teacher, she's taken over pretty well, and she's adjusting to it, because she was at a child development center before she came here. So she was working with toddlers on up to 5 years old. So now she's working with school age students. So it's been kind of an adjustment for her, but she has a very strong paraprofessional in there with her that is providing great assistance.
And you moved over, you left our building, went to the high school. How's that going for you? How's that working out for you?
Well, whenever I took over this position, with us being such a small school district, it was kind of hard for budget-wise for me to be just strictly special education supervisor. So I have a dual role. Half the day I do office duties and such with special education, going through due process and following compliance and everything else. And then the rest of half of the day I split that half between the high school and the elementary by being a special education instructional facilitator. And what I do is I go into the classrooms that have special education students, and I assist the teacher that's there, or just come in to observe and assist the students that's in there, the special ed, and some of the other students as well, just to see if they need some assistance, or there to, you know, provide some instruction to the teacher and for them to ask advice on, you know, something's not quite working with this one student. Is there some type of other way that I can approach this? Is there a different strategy or some type of other instructional tool that I could possibly use? So that's what I do with the elementary and high school. So yeah, it's a balancing act, well, more of a juggling act, because I feel like I'm in the circus and I hear the in the background a lot.
When you make these recommendations or suggestions, are the teachers are very receptive to those, or have you found any
So far,
resistance?
So far I haven't had any resistance or anything from any of the teachers. They've been quite acceptable of the suggestions that I've been providing and so forth. So it's all in compromise and being able to work with each other and so forth. And you know, one of the things that I always say is, you know, we're all in this together. It doesn't matter, you know, if you're at the head of the game or if you're even down here, if you're one of the persons that take care of the school building, like our janitors and our cafeteria workers, you know, we're all in this together.
Thank you for stopping by.
No problem.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, Mr. Somerville.